Alright, so I'm back with another quick Pauper deck tech. So this deck right now is a mono green ramp deck. It's very much a work in progress because it has some weaknesses and yeah, it's definitely not optimized, but it is pretty fun and I think it has potential. So I thought I'd share it. Okay, so we run 20 lands, nothing too crazy. Then we've got Llanowar Elves as ramp, Utopia Sprawl as well. It's a 1 mana for an aura. It enchants a forest. It says, as Utopia Sprawl enters the battlefield, choose a color. And whenever the enchanted forest is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of the chosen color, which obviously has great synergy with Arbor Elf, which is 1 green for a 1/1 with tap, untap, target forest. Then, in terms of more ramp, we're also playing 3 copies of Llanowar Visionary, 3 mana for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and it has tap, add 1 green. Then we're running 4 copies of Burning Tree Emissary, 2 mana for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, add 1 red and 1 green. We also have 2 copies of Bayou Groff, 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 green for a 5/4. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 3. So since we have a lot of ramp, it's usually very easy to pay the 3. And since we have so many mana dorks, it's also easy to pay the sacrifice cost. Then one of the centerpiece cards in this deck is Winding Way from Modern Horizons. It's a sorcery, costs 2 mana, 1 generic, 1 green. It says choose creature or land, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all cards of the chosen type revealed this way into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. So in a deck that is full of lands and creatures, this can often draw you quite a few cards. And the fact that it lets you put lands or creatures into your graveyard also has synergy with some of our other threats. Like, for example, we are playing Hooting Mandrills, which is 6 mana, 5 colorless, 1 green for a 4/4 with Trample and Delve. So Delve means when you cast this spell, you can exile any number of cards from your graveyard, and each spell you exile pays for 1 mana. So this has synergy with filling up your graveyard. Then, so does Murasa Behemoth, also from Modern Horizons, 6 mana for a 5/5 with Trample, costs 4 generic, 2 green, and it says it gets +3/+3 as long as there is a land card in your graveyard. So as long as you put a land card into your graveyard through Winding Way or Tranquil Thicket, if it'll display, or Tranquil Thicket, it becomes an 8/8 with Trample for 6, which is pretty good. Then we're also running a few copies of Owlbear, 5 mana for a 4/4, 3 generic, 2 green. It has Trample, and it says when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And then finally, the green Monarch creature, Entourage of Trest, 5 mana, 4 generic, 1 green for a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, and it says it can block an additional creature each combat as long as you're the Monarch. So as you can see, we're basically just ramping into hardcore threats and hoping that wins. Yeah, so please let me know how I could improve this, because right now it feels like it has potential, but for some reason lately it's just been a little bit underpowered. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.